Zimbabwe's unemployment figure is 95%, meaning that of that 5% that is informal employment, a fifth, 25% of the working population lost their job due to the COVID pandemic. I want to come to the real sectors of the economy. And so what I'm submitting so far is that the combination of the political situation, the combination of the humanitarian situation, the combination of COVID-19 makes an urgent case for the restoration and the return of Zimbabwe back to prosperity. And you see when I begin to outline our 10-point plan, the urgency of the situation. The Zimbabwean economy is an unprecedented tailspin, suffering from massive headwinds across all sectors of the economy. In 2019, the economy will shrink by a staggering 12.5%. And what it essentially means is that we are back to depression economics. So if you look at the graph that we have presented before, you will see that practically for all intents and purposes, from 2016 onwards, the economy has been recording sub-zero growth rates. With the 2020, we project 2020 to be around minus 12%, 2021, contrary to the estimations of Minister Mutuli Ngube in his budget strategy paper, we estimate a below zero growth as a result of incompetence and cluelessness. Now that graph is very important. At the end of that graph, the return to depression economics, because the Zimbabwean economy is very cyclical. The Zimbabwean economy loves these booms and slumps, booms and slumps, booms and slumps, which you see there, you see the curves. But Zimbabwe's slumps tend to be U-shaped. So if you look at this slump, it tends to be, you see the shape of a cup, it tends to be U-shaped. What it means in economics is that if you are trapped in a U-shape, it means you fall down steeply, but it takes you a long time to get out. Now, if I were to impose the graph of the Zimbabwean economics, of the Zimbabwean economy, since 1965 or since 1980, you will see these huge caps. In economics, they are called Kuznets depressions. This is a situation where your economy has a tendency of going into these depressions that last for 11 to 15 years. So if you remember the crisis last time lasted from 1998 to 2011, an 11-year period where the economy lost 60% of its value. So that's a Kuznets depression that lasted for 11 years. We put the brakes during the 4.5 years of the government of national unity, but we are back again. We are back again into that gap. So we are back to depression economics. We are back to recession economics. And the recession economics is characterized by three things which are arresting our country at the present moment. Number one is low productivity or low output. And that figure speaks for itself with growth rates that are averaging minus 5% per annum. Number two, a typical crisis of depression economics is weak or low aggregate demand. So if you go into the shops right now, unlike 2008, the shops are full of goods, but people are picking 2-3 goods and running away to their cars or to their homes. So there's weak or zero aggregate demand. That's why goods on the shops are not moving. The third characteristics of depression economics is, of course, excess capacity. Excess capacity in the form of unemployment. 95% of the people in Zimbabwe are unemployed. Excess capacity in the form of idle industrial capacity. The capacity utilization of the country is around 20%. If you go to the industrial sites, you will see factories that have got grass. If you go to Bulawayo industrial sites, you see factories that are being converted into churches. This, ladies and gentlemen, is depression economics. We have dovetailed and fast-tracked ourselves into a depression, but a depression that is fast-tracking itself into an economic recession. Now, the IMF in April 2020 produced a staff report of 2020, which was an indictment. The IMF is normally placid, it's very normally complicit. It normally plays around and sugars and butters and puts mascara, puts makeup on dictators. It is desperate to look for success stories. But this is what the IMF said in their staff report of 3 April 2020. Zimbabwe is experiencing an economic and humanitarian crisis. High fiscal deficits financed by RBZ money creation resulted in severe macroeconomic imbalances and market distortions. The governments that came into office following the 2018 elections adopted an agenda focused on macro stabilization. This was supported by a staff monitor program adopted in May 2019, but is now off track as policy implementation has been mixed. Progress on fiscal reforms was overshadowed by costly missteps. That's how so the disaster of Mutuli Ngube, they euphemistically referred to them as policy missteps. On monetary and forex market reforms, climate shocks have crippled agriculture and electricity generation and magnified the social impacts of the fiscal retrenchment and currency reform, leaving more than half the population food insecure. Protracted external arrears constrain access to external official support, while additional commercial borrowing has worsened the debt overhang and likely complicated discussion on debt resolution. With another poor harvest expected, this is in 2020. Growth in 2020 is projected to near zero following a sharp contraction in 2019, with food shortages continuing. With no progress on clearing long-standing external arrears, the authorities face a difficult balance of pursuing tight monetary policy to reduce very high inflation and fiscal policies to address the macroeconomic imbalances and build confidence in the currency while averting a crisis. This report of April 2020 effectively put a death knell to the staff monitored program. For all intents and purposes, the IMF, the World Bank, and all the IFIs, together with the development partners, the United Kingdom, the United States of America, the European Union, China, India, all the countries have effectively written Zimbabwe off. And they've written Zimbabwe off because of what they euphemistically dub policy mistake, which in our respectful submission is a crisis of governance, is a crisis of leadership. It's a reflection of the broken down social contract. So one of the things, and we mentioned this in our 10-point plan, one of the things that the government has to do, one of the things that the authorities have to do as part of restoring and returning Zimbabwe back to prosperity is to begin re-engagement with our FIs in a bid to ensure that we clear our arrears with the World Bank, about $2 billion, with the African Development Bank, about $560 million, with the Paris Club of Lenders, about $5.4 billion. I've left out the debt that we owe to the African Import-Export Bank. I've left out the debt that we owe to the Chinese.